I wanted to bring it back to
horrible.
creepypasta. I wanted to bring it back to creepypasta.
Oh, okay,
if
do
we
it,
could.
do it.
Oh yeah. Let's
Okay,
do it.
because that was like creepypasta was so fun back in the day, around the time when like Slender Man
Oh yeah,
came out.
creepypasta was awesome.
Like I didn't like horror things, but I liked creepypasta stuff. Like I
don't
remember
think I know
you
what we're
told
talking
me
about.
a good.
You don't know
So,
what
do you
creepypasta
know what
is?
creepypasta is?
I don't think so.
It's like
Oh,
internet.
dude,
website
it's like,
with,
yeah, it's like a website where
creepy-
people would post like short horror
So
stories.
this is that's where
It's like
Slender Man
Reddit, but
came
just
from.
like creepy stories,
Yeah,
kind of.
it's
a lot
like-
of classic shit came from there. Like
Well,
it was
Candle
a lot
Cove.
of like that's where I was gonna mention. That was
Candle
exactly what I was
Cove?
gonna mention.
Candle Cove. Oh,
because
that was
Kat
terrible.
told me about it
No idea
when we
what
were in
that
high
is.
school.
Yeah.
Candle Cove was Can I explain it or do you want to explain it?
Yeah, but you explain it and yeah.
Okay. Candle Cove. Well, so creepypasta, like I was saying before, was just a website where people would post like different, short or long form horror stories. Essentially, it was just like a writer's thing.
And it was usually kind of like made as a blog post of like, oh, this is actually happening.
Yeah, like
So
some
it
people
was
would put it in
always
like real time.
to-
Other people would put it as like frame narratives and stuff.
Yeah.
Like folklore.
Like there's a classic
Okay.
one. There's a classic one in terms of like stuff updating in real time called Ben Drowned.
That
remember
was
Ben Drowned?
that was the one I really
Ben
wanted to talk
Drowned
about.
is
That was
so
my
good.
favorite one.
Ben Drowned is really, really good.
Fucked me up.
So I'll explain Candle Cove and then you'll explain Ben
Wait,
Drowned.
yeah, I was gonna say I want to know about Ben Drowned.
Ben
Oh,
Drowned
yeah.
is so good. Candle Cove was essentially just this dude who went to like a garage sale or some shit or something,
Yeah.
or like a thrift store or something, right? And he picks up these VHSs, and it's from a kids show that aired like back in the '80s called Candle Cove.
Not
where it was
VHS tapes.
Yeah, no, that's where it always starts with the fucking VHS tape.
Is
So,
Candle Cove a
it's
real-
either a
I thought it
VHS
was-
tape or an N64
No,
cartridge. That's all it is.
No, it started as an internet thread where they were like, does anybody remember the show that used to air at
Right,
Candle
right,
Cove?
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not a real show.
It's
No, it's not a real
because
show.
yeah, because they were like, oh, do you remember the show? And it was like people were like, oh, I remember that. There was like this guy, and he was like a skeleton, and he'd always like be like, I'm coming for your flesh.
Yeah, and so it was
Ew.
essentially just like all these puppets that would be on the show, and like it was like a kids show, and they would like do these like wacky, weird sketches and shit like that.
Wait, so actually, because I just remembered this, because this is unlocking a part of my brain. The reason that I first read this was people said that the Misadventures of
Yeah.
Flapjack was based off of that.
Is that true?
It had some similarities.
It definitely had some.
Who's to
Yeah,
say?
it had some
I don't know.
similarities.
But so
Fucking
essentially,
love Misfits
I
with
wouldn't
so
be
Flapjack.
essentially it was
surprised.
this, it was. So Mike,
Makes
essentially it was this internet thread that people were like, hey, like, do you remember Candle Cove, blah blah blah, and people would be like, oh yeah, kind of remember, blah blah blah, whatever. So then it would cut to this guy who was like explaining like, oh yeah, Candle Cove was like the show back in the 80s where like it was this dude in like a skeleton outfit, and he would like play, and he would like do puppeteering, and like everybody, and like there was these weird puppets, and essentially just like it was like they would get into these like wacky scenarios, but it had like a very creepy vibe to it.
Yeah,
There was like a bunch of like weird shit on it.
and then there'd be responses like, oh yeah, do you remember there's this one weird episode where it's like, just all the puppets were just screaming.
Yeah.
It was just the whole episode they were just screaming and running
Is
back and
this
forth
like
and screaming.
hardcore? Like, is this? I guess in my brain I'm thinking of like Goosebumps, but like more streamlined and hardcore.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it really
it
is like
was-
Goosebumps. It's like anthology
It
stories.
was
Right,
Goosebumps for
right.
a modern day and written by different people.
and
Yeah.
more like
Graphic.
Like, yeah,
Definitely
that's-
graphic.
that's-
Definitely way
wow,
more
there was
graphic.
a lot of graphic ones.
So like
Yeah.
was this just like somebody starts the story and then people just added on to
No,
it?
it was
or
usually
was
the
it-
same
okay.
author
I
all
was
the
gonna
way
say because
through.
like
But
you were
it's-
saying
so
like somebody went,
creepypastas-
oh, there was one episode where they were all screaming.
Oh,
Is that
no,
just
that's
somebody-
them.
Creepypastas generally came in two formats. It was either like a blog post where like they would update the creepypasta like every couple months, whatever, or it would be like a long form like short story kind of thing.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
so the blog
thing where
posts-
someone was like, oh yeah, the episode where they're all screaming. Is that just the same author? Or is that
Yes.
somebody adding
Same
that
author.
into
So
the
same
story?
author would
Okay.
act as multiple people
Got you.
responding
Okay.
to an internet thread.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in Candle Cove, so yeah, they would they would mention like, oh yeah, there was all these like weird fucking episodes of like puppets screaming, one puppet like died or whatever, and they like would be these weird things that would be happening on the show, and then eventually like after the author like explains all this stuff and like it gets progressively worse and worse and worse and worse until you find out that I think it was like one of the parents came on the thread or whatever.
No, somebody was like, I just asked my mom about Candle Cove. I asked if she remembered me watching this show, and
Right,
her
right.
response was, oh, you would say that you're watching Candle Cove all the time, and then you would just sit in front of the TV and watch static for 20 minutes.
I hate
Like,
it.
I just got chills right now. Like,
Oh
fuck,
my
it's-
God, that's
that was such
horrible.
a good
It's
ending.
so
just like
good.
go through the whole thing, like, oh, this is weird. This is getting creepier and creepier, and just,
It's just people collectively, like, unconsciously remembering Candle
Yeah.
Cove. And then the
That's-
one person comes in and was like, no, yeah, you were just watching Static for like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's
Oh,
horrible.
it's
But,
so
like,
good.
Why would the parent just like be like, ah?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
like,
it.
but
it's
you
a-
know
it's-
what
oh,
I
you
know.
never watched
I feel
Static?
like you're
I watched
fucking
Static.
But
freaking
you
me
know-
out.
There's
Turn
like,
the
there's, like,
TV
there's
on.
a little bit of like a
I watched
suspension of
Static.
disbelief
You
there,
know,
definitely.
you know what I think it
Once or
lends to
twice.
though?
Okay.
You know what I think it lends to though of like, you know how in horror like you never want to like show the monster because in
And
your
no horror
brain.
movie ever listens to that anymore.
But you know what I mean? Like in your brain, you picture something
Your imagination's always creepier than anything.
so
someone
much
puts out.
For sure.
more horrifying. So the fact that it's like, I think the ending of the Candle Cove being like you were just sitting there watching Static, for me that is deeply
It's
unsettling.
excellent. It's
Yeah.
excellent.
That
You know
got
what I mean?
that got
It
a
is
the Candle Cove
incredible.
got a TV adaptation.
It did.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
So
on the
Channel
Sci-Fi
Zero?
Channel.
Channel
I
Zero?
wanted to. Was it Channel Zero?
No,
No,
yeah,
no.
it was Channel
Channel
Zero.
Zero?
Yeah, yeah, on the Sci-Fi.
I
on the
wanted
Sci-Fi
to watch.
Channel.
I think we talked about it once. We were gonna watch.
They
it
adapted
together.
They adapted
They did Ben
fucking no,
Drowned?
they didn't do Ben
Oh.
Drowned. I'm
And
sorry.
they had
They
that
did
like
Candle Cove and then
horror-
they did something else.
They had that like horrible like teeth person.
That
where-
was yeah.
Yes.
That was the guy
oh
who,
my
who wants
gosh.
your flesh.
Yeah.
I remember when the trailers came out for that Channel Zero. I didn't know it was based off of this, right?
Mhm.
And I remember just seeing the visual of like the teeth person, because something about it, like
It's a very striking
it.
visual.
Not only is it striking, but you don't really think of teeth as being like creepy.
Yeah.
But when you see like
Unless you see the movie Teeth.
Oh, I don't
Ugh,
want to
stop
talk about
it.
teeth. I don't want to talk about teeth.
but like when you see somebody like a human form, but all teeth, especially when like you see the face, there's something about it that's just like this visceral disgust and just like
Yeah.
uneasiness towards it. And I remember when I first saw those, I was like, how did they come up with that visual? Because that is so unnerving to look at, because I know in my brain that like that's incorrect, you know what I mean? It's like does not compute kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, ugh, I hate it.
A lot of creepypastas were very imaginative. Like
Yeah.
they
Yes.
spawned some really good writers out of that.
Really
There-
good.
But
there
very
please
was some-
explain Ben Drowned,
So-
arguably the
Yes,
greatest creepypasta ever.
Yeah,
Tell me
like-
about Ben Drowns.
So Ben
Besides
Drowned.
Slenderman, arguably the greatest
Yeah.
creepypasta ever
So
written.
so Ben Drowned was, I think, just ridiculous amount of effort was put into this. Like, it was so good.
Mm.
It was a story about a guy who had gone to a what you call it, a yard sale, and found, oh man, an N64 and a copy of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Awesome, cool, classic, throwback. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna throw it. And as
Oh no, it was Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask. I'm sorry, Majora's Mask.
with
Very
the
important.
mask. Yeah, yeah.
Very important difference.
Yeah.
So the game is fucking creepy as in its own. Like, it has like really creepy elements for a kid's game.
It's so good though.
It's
It is.
very good.
Phenomenal game.
And basically, he opens the thing and he sees as he's leaving, the person's like, okay, goodbye. Then he's like, is what he thinks he hears, and he opens the game and it's got the title Ben, or the name is Ben for the save file. So he's like, oh, maybe he said goodbye, Ben. So was he saying bye to like his kid? And he's playing the game, and as he's going, it's just doing weird things. You shouldn't have done that keeps coming up, and it's like some things are going weird with the game. And how did it like really start? Do you remember like the general?
Oh, it
Just
was
of,
like,
like-
it was like one of the characters. I think it was like either
The
Tingle
Tingle or the
or somebody.
mask
Yeah, or the mask
seller.
salesman was like saying like prophetic visions of like you're gonna die or something like that.
I mean, the
Yeah.
Masked Salesman is incredibly creepy that entire game, and he's being super vague with shit. So probably that guy.
But yeah, he
Yeah,
was
it
saying
was him.
like very prophetic, apocalyptic shit
And
like,
stuff
kinda.
that he didn't say in the actual game. So the guy's getting weirded out, and as he's going, like, it would pull him into things where he would just be drowning and dying.
Ugh.
And he connected his game to his computer so he could capture the footage.
Right.
And he shared it, and so this is where it got really well made. Is he actually made this footage in the game engine of all this stuff happening, of it saying like of
that's
him being
cool.
trapped.
The best creepypastas were the ones where they had like visual accompaniments.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
too,
so
because
cool.
there was very small sidetrack. There was one where some guy did a Godzilla game that was like a haunted Godzilla cartridge, and like the guy actually like developed the fucking game and like took pictures of it and like videos and stuff like that, and then like put it in the story.
You know what that makes me think of? Like the Pokemon ROM hack where it's like
Oh, Lavender
Town,
Yeah,
that one.
That's a creepypasta.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's a creepypasta, but that's what that makes me think of because they like had those visuals
Yeah.
Yeah.
alongside of it.
Mhm.
I was
Sure.
never a forum kid. Like I never
Really?
really
I
had that
wasn't
stuff.
either,
Me
but
neither, but
I was into Tumblr and like a lot
Oh,
of
yeah, like
those.
you would see a lot of it
it
on
would get
Tumblr,
reblogged on
Yeah,
Tumblr
a lot
For
of
sure.
those things got posted onto Tumblr,
Yeah,
so
I
that's
never-
kind of how
I
I
never really-
absorbed the info.
I never really like got to those points. Maybe it was because like, well,
We're
no,
such
'cause
a normie.
well, I was gonna say like, maybe just because like the only computer we had was like in the main room of
Oh,
our thing,
like
but
a
like also
family
we talked about that
computer?
where like you guys had that too. So like I don't know like, or
But
were you
I-
doing that when you had your own computer?
This is
I
like
got
in high
my
school.
I
Yeah.
got my first
Oh.
computer when I was in 8th grade, I think.
All right, well I think I already had my computer by then, but I don't think I ever. I don't know. I wasn't like a forum
It was
kid.
like word of mouth, and then I would go check it out like myself.
Same.
Yeah.
the
that
only
kinda
thing
thing.
I could think of for that is like the like videos that went around everywhere, like Two Girls One Cup, shit like that. Like that's the only thing I can
very,
think of.
very different kind of.
But no,
horror.
I know, but like I can only think of like 3 of those examples of like 3 videos that somebody mentioned that I then friends of mine like went and watched. But like past that, I never really had any of that. Like let's just go on a forum and like read shit kind of stuff. It was never really something I did. So
That's fair.
But please, Colin, finish Ben
Yeah,
Drowned.
please continue.
Finish the saga.
So he records the footage and he's like, here, let me upload the footage. It's weird. This game's been acting like this. And stuff. And then the next post is like, my computer started talking to me.
Oh, I hate it.
The soul of this kid, Ben, who died, was transferred through the game cartridge to my computer because I connected them. And talks to him on, what was it? It was like...
I think it was like AOL Instant Messenger.
No, it was like an AI that would respond to you. It's like a real website.
Right.
Oh, Cleverbot or some shit?
Cleverbot. It was
Yeah,
Cleverbot.
yeah.
So still to
Oh,
this
yeah.
day, if you go ask like about Ben Drowned, it'll have that conversation with you.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That's so scary. I hate that.
Oh,
fucked
it's like this legitimately scared me. It's this really long post. It's got a couple different videos. I remember like I was playing a Legend of Zelda game at the time and I couldn't finish the game for 3 weeks.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's like if you want like a good weird like out there horror that's just unique in its own right, go read Ben Drowned.
I really like horror stories that take such like interesting liberties with like what makes something